a crazy week with this new moon that came through. Old connections for me. People calling up from all over the place, touching base I hadn't heard it from in 20 years. I'm curious to know what you guys have been feeling. I want you to put down in the comment section. Put down your sun, if you have your degree, your moon, and your rising. Come welcome into Astro Monday. This is gonna be a good one today. Hey, Chris Witecki.
Hey buddy, how's it going? Welcome everyone.
I met.
Pound cake, huh? You got pounded?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was funny. I mean, really, really good day yesterday, but I felt towards the end of the day, I felt there was issues in testing energy. Like I had to watch my thoughts the last 2 days in the morning. Like I would come in with narratives and thoughts, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, I'm not in that space anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's that's a theme. I think our biggest opponent is our mind being programmed for the past. So I felt that as well. I was very pensive yesterday, and Saturday was hugely impactful as far as just understanding what needs to happen. So
Yes.
this weekend was really like a crunching and understanding of, okay, what, some practicals of what needs to happen. It seems like we're finally grounding into some real reality,
Yeah,
whereas very speculative up until now.
and it was the weirdest thing. I was getting on a call before our live. And then on the power in our property, I'm just up at Beyond Ibogaine. They're center just up the street from us, and our power went zzz, power out, the whole street power out, the whole section power out, and I'm like, okay, there's something got to be going on here. It feels like one of those days. And also, I had people reaching out over the weekend, like not just reaching out, like I had like somebody in my organization call me and say, "Hey, this guy from 20 years ago just wanted to say hi to you," and I had that happen more than
Oh,
once.
interesting. Some karmic cycles coming back around. Are they, so what's the story when that happens? Is it like closure? Because a lot of times when you move spiritually on, you have closure. But sometimes there's another chapter you didn't anticipate. Are you re-upping with any of these people, or are you closing
No,
business?
it felt like closure. It's like people just checking in, say hi, say hi, say hi.
Yeah.
And it was definitely to do with the new moon. I mean, coming into the new moon, I could feel all kinds of weirdness around people in a good way. I mean, like situations, people falling in, falling out, little issues happening around. We had some staffing problems in Canada, and and all these things happened all on Friday or Saturday.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Well, we had this huge snowstorm here in Denver over the weekend, and we had power flicking on and off too, which was kind of like, oh, that's the last thing you want is to be caught in a snowstorm. So I had that as well. Yeah, well, it's interesting because uh, the power and all that sort of thing. Step 13 was last Friday. So last Friday was the Grandmaster
Oh,
Step 13. So the
oh,
universe was calling us to raise the vibe on Friday. You felt
oh
that?
yeah. Okay. So probably on here, man. So had somebody I interviewed on Friday, and I said, "Well, putting a stake in the ground." Well, all of a sudden there was all these relationship issues, and four grandmaster Aries reached out to me all on Friday, and I have a grandmaster Aries in my chart and a 21-degree Aries rising, and all reached out to me on Friday. Like we're talking, it was like Aries, 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 and they all came into the lives too.
It's funny is actually you just made me remember. As far as the people coming back, I was joking that it was like Groundhog Day, the movie, on Friday because I kept seeing like my past coming back over and over again on Friday. I forgot now until just now. But it was ironically Groundhog Day, and that was Groundhog Day on Friday,
Yeah.
the second.
Okay, that makes sense because I know the astrology of everybody I touch basically. So
Yeah.
I saw a lot of it in the Saturns, where the Saturns were highly related to my
Mm.
chart, like identical matches, or like Grandmaster Sagittarius, Grandmaster Virgo, Grandmaster Aries coming in through the Saturns.
Oh, okay. Got you. Which to me is, well, at that point, I mean, if it's coming through the Saturns, it's lending some sort of authority. Did you what was your takeaway with seeing those people? I'm just curious.
Well, so I was not affected by anything. They were all highly affected by something, and
Oh, okay.
and it felt like I was like putting the Aries together and jump starting them, connecting the dots for them, and
Okay.
literally actually connecting them in real life too.
Well, I was only asking because it was all Grandmaster Saturn. So it sounds like they're having some, power disruption. Saturn is our ability to decide, conclude, to self-lead, to self-govern. So it sounds like they were going to the Jedi U to figure out how
Yeah,
to use.
and I always assume that anytime somebody comes to me, like if somebody in front of me has a rage or does something to hurt me, I always say, okay, why am I drawing that? Like, what is it me? Like, what is it showing in me?
Right.
So I could see all the people that come in also at different points of my life where I had been in a relationship, had a problem, had a business issue, had a problem. So I could see that on Friday. So I think it's like you said, karma closures, like
Mm,
closing down old accounts that have been left open.
mm, mm. Yeah, and that's part of it. And really, this week is, you said it. Last week was that Friday was really that. Are you got to be this tall to ride this ride? I mean, that's probably the best way to put it. So anyone who's not going to be raising their vibration to a higher level isn't going to be part of your collective, and that's one thing Aquarius is. Aquarius is your tribe.
Yeah.
So we talk about my tribe. Aquarius is your tribe, basically, of who you walk with. So there's this tribe selection going on for sure. And over the weekend, there's this acceptance of, okay, that's the tribe. I had a lot of realizations about where my future would go over the weekend too, a lot of clarities. And then this week, now that you know the separation of what is low and what is high, or like, the two different levels, this is the week where now you go for it. You go for this new high vibration life. That's what the premise of this week is about.
Well, so let me tell you what was happening internally. We were like, okay, so we have some shifts in our organization, and we're like, okay, it's time to now. Now I can see it's time to let certain people move on. Uh, it's also time to, uh, yeah, let consciousness or the universe take care of the situations. It already did. It presented the issues, and then today I was like, okay, it's time for us to reset our vision. So to the point where we have about 40 people coming in next week on Wednesday, and I'm like, no, we don't wait till we're done. Let's do it this weekend. Let's go away for a couple of days. Let's just reset our vision for what we want. The rest of this year, the organizations, our world tour. Like because we're going into Europe right after we're with you, and
Yay.
so we're all those things were like bubbling up at the this today of like it's time for us to take leadership. It's because we've been like literally pounding the pavement, doing the work ourselves.
Yeah. Well, two things I'll speak to. One, I mean, I had meetings with everyone on my staff in January that said, you may or may not be joining us for this next tour. It's not even necessarily up to me. It's sort of like, I mean, we're at the beginning of, I don't want to call it the Revolutionary War. I don't want to call it a war,
Yeah,
but we're on
revolution.
the prefaces, the beginning of something major like that. So just think about some people have a destiny to be in certain places at this incredibly karmic moment. And right now you're going to see those separation of people taking different paths with the South Node in Libra. Also, romantic relationships are splitting up also because those relationships were based on the lessons and the frequency that you were working with. And now that you're on to a new frequency, you're on to a new timeline. And so I'm also seeing that there's a lot of breakups happening this month, as many as there are. In fact, I think people coming together probably in June. So right after we hang out in Austin in May, I think that people are going to be hooking up and meeting people for the first time on the new teams.
Wow. I mean, yeah, it feels like that. I mean, for me, I've been having this massive disconnecting with everybody. Like I have this. I don't feel connected even to my sister, who's my mom, or to
Yeah.
my kids. I mean, they're there. I love them and all that. But there's this disconnection with the world. Not any person, but the world, as I guess I would say.
Yeah. Well, you're about to. Well, I think you're stepping into your world role. Your world role. to that 25 times. So I would imagine there's going to be a different kind of group that surrounds you at that level. And yeah, I think part of Aquarius is detaching. So I'll just say this: you may feel detached, even if you're meant to be with them in the future. In Aquarius, you would temporarily detach anyways.
Right. Everybody's gonna
Just so
feel
you know,
detached.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like when you clean out the garage, you take everything, put it on the driveway. It's just like everything is pulled out of the garage, and then we're gonna see what we put back in, and the rest is gonna go cheap in a garage sale.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would expect you to feel a little detached from everyone right now. I think that's natural.
Okay. That makes me. I mean, it puts some grounding to the feeling because
Yeah.
it was on an insane level of feeling detached, like, like just in a good way. Didn't feel bad about it. I just felt, and I guess part of it was what is attachment? Attachment in our current world. Well, I guess that's what it is. It's attachment. We're not supposed to be attached. We're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be attached to anything. Attaching to outcomes is what causes problems. It's what causes anger and frustration. So I think we're supposed to be an observation and contribution to, but not attachment to. I think maybe that's the way it's saying.
Attachment is a good way to. I think that attachment is a little unhealthy, yes, but connection. Like, so there might have been a co-attachment, and now there'll be a co-connection. Like there also might be an upgrade in the quality of the connection itself. There's no longer that I'm codependent. I don't need you, and you don't need me. In a given relationship, but I'm going to still align and connect. Hello, Lois Lane.
There's Cynthia is saying free spirit. We were talking about this last night. It's not,
Yeah. Oh,
and that's, I mean, if you're feeling this in the comments, if you're feeling this, do me a favor, put this in the comments. If you're feeling this around your partner or your family, your mother, your children, something like that, put it in the comments. And I'm kind of curious to know if other people are feeling that too. So
interesting. Yeah.
yes, they are.
So today's a major spiritual day. Just so everyone knows, today's really the day where you sort of actually our conversation is exactly the way it should be for a day like today, because today is the day where you realize spiritually what your karma is with given people and given situations. So today you realize, okay, we've come to the end of this part of our journey. We've come to the end of this leg of our karmic agreement. Sometimes you're going to re-up for another karmic agreement with them. Sometimes you're not. Um, Mercury conjoins Pluto today, so today is the official death of an old mindset about where you belong or don't belong.
Right. So let's go through the week. Let's look what it looks like. So we know today is a very important spiritual day, and I really did feel this new moon in a different way, and I even got. I don't normally don't get puffy during new moons, but like body puffy. I got puffy on this new moon.
Well, the new moon's building. Actually, Apex is Friday, buddy. I'm not sure what you're referring to,
Oh,
but you might.
oh,
Yeah, you're in
I'm in.
another world. That proves you're in another
Okay, okay.
dimension.
Well, that's what I'm building to.
The new moon is this Friday.
Wow,
I
time
do think the whole
warp.
week. Yeah, yeah, total time warp. But yeah, no, and I almost went with you there. I was like, oh yeah, it was. Like, wait a second. Yeah, we're building to a new moon on Aquarius. I think the reason why it's in your mind is because I talked all about the new moon all last week. I mean, that was our meeting. I talked all about it, that it was coming up, that we were preparing for it. But we have the new moon this Friday that happens around 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we are building towards that new moon right now. The moon right now is crossing the galactic center in Sagittarius. So today we're getting our, like, what is my story? What is my purpose? Where am I headed? Who's on this journey with me? Who's not on this journey with me? I need to completely reset the way I think about where I belong.
By the way,
So
do you hear a siren in the background?
yes.
Okay, so as I'm getting ready for live, all the power goes out in our place. Then power goes out in the block. Then the cell towers go down. I come over here. I get out. Wind's going crazy everywhere. Now there's a siren going. I mean, it's almost like the universe is conspiring so that we don't talk. Like we're gonna create something that's gonna like blow up the world.
It's possible. Yeah. I feel like when that happens in the moment, there's some sort of attention getting, like, to me, when that sort of stuff happens, I look at it as like, What am I supposed to pay attention to right now in this moment?
Yeah, I mean that's totally what I do. I'm like investigator. I'm like, okay, everybody get out of my way. I want to see everything.
What's happened?
We're driving over here. I'm like, what's the license plate in front of me? Let's reduce it. What's the step number?
Looking at all the numbers. I had a numerologist on my show Friday night, which is really interesting. And he gave me, so I'm looking at traditional numerology and I'm looking at the step system and I'm seeing how the two, and they're both on the exact same page, but numerologists pay attention to other qualities than I do. So what's interesting is the numerology sort of flushes out, but for your year number, this is something everyone watching can do this, which is great. This
Right?
came from Josh Siegel, who is a
The,
numerologist.
the life path. You mean reduce your
Well, no,
year?
you're the current year. So you
Okay,
have a year number. So the year number is you take your month, which for you is 12, right?
yeah,
And you add that to your day, which what day is it?
20,
19 is your
20,
day? 20.
20,
So
32.
20 plus, that's 32. And then you add 32 to 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4. So you add it just to the year. So 32, 34, 36, 40. This is a 40 net 4 year for you.
I mean, if this is a total grandmaster, belong and protect what I belong to year. I mean, that's literally what I'm doing this year.
That's fascinating because I'm a 22 net 4 also. So we're both net 4s,
But this
buddy.
is
This
why years ago you said this is getting. I remember you said it's gonna be 2024 and it'll start to get better in 2023. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna make it in 2020. No, I'm gonna make it
Oh
in
yeah, yeah,
2021.
yeah, 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 yeah. We're both saying that. That's what you call denial, sir.
Yes, a river in Egypt, very long one.
Hmm. Very long one. So, anyways, everyone can do that, but I find it adds to this. So that's fascinating that we're both net 4s. That means that this year is about taking our vision higher. Me from a 22 perspective, you from holding space with the vision.
So yours at 22 perspective. That's taking it higher and interdimensional. All right,
Yeah,
wizardry.
both of us is wizardry, but you are just with you being a 40, which is by the way what happens when a person turns 40. So the
Huh.
step systems apply to your year of life. So when you're 40, you are coming around the curve of 39 and you have to now up your game. And usually it's the oh my god, I'm 40 crisis that makes you sort of like get your shift in order. Plus you're starting to oppose your Uranus starting to oppose your Uranus. But what that means is 40 means that your heart already knows where you belong. Okay. You know where you belong and you're locking it, you're holding it with that zero. You're basically holding on to it going, it's here.
Yeah.
And so you're sort of climbing up and holding space. I'm a 22 for, which was like, is it this or is it this? Is it this or is it this? So I'm constantly determining where I belong. I don't have a clear vision. I'm feeling through it. That's the difference between the two net 4s.
Yeah, and also in my 40 year for that, I'm also 55, which is Gemini, Taurus. So this is my
Ideas.
manifestation year,
Yep.
and it's sorting out what I think on both sides for sure.
That's interesting. I'm a 22 net 4, and yeah, that's very interesting. So your ideas bouncing off of ideas to manifest, and I'm feelings bouncing off of feelings to where I belong.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's almost a polar switch of where we were in 2018.
Oh yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm extremely excited for this year. I think it's going to be, and I always knew this would be the case. I always knew, but the time I got my shift together, the world would be falling apart, and I just knew that.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, what, guys, I'm here at the party, guys. I guess everyone's gone somewhere. It does look some interesting stuff. So you were asking about this week. This week is about launching the higher life and emotionally investing in the future. So that new moon is an emotional investment in the future. And what you could say you are doing, you are emotionally choosing. So the moon right now is in Sagittarius. So you're feeling your story. Then the moon goes into Capricorn for 3 days. So you're making emotional decisions. It's not going to be this. I feel it will be that. So sort of like sitting there at the garage sale and choosing what's going to come and what's not going to come. Then that new moon on Friday is the emotional, yes, give me this, God. I feel this is where I belong. So you're emotionally calling or longing for where you belong on the new moon. The real decision day is tomorrow, step 17.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you decide with the moon in Capricorn also decide. So And what you're deciding is really the vibration and the frequency. So my mind is really shifted about manifestation now. I've been watching Bashar and some other light workers, which are just adding different ideas to it. And it's about getting your own vibration to the story. It's about getting yourself to, rather than drawing fate and reality to us, it's that we vibrate to that reality and then we are at that
I believe
reality. So
that.
what you're committing to is, what is this frequency, what does this life frequency feel like? So you can say what you're committing to this week is what you want your life's frequency to always vibe
I,
at.
I I get that. I mean, we decided today to pull together on Friday without even knowing that, and Friday afternoon and Saturday and Sunday to pull together strategy. And so since Cynthia's on here, yes, that's I was going to call you right after I got off this because we just finished that meeting and
She's
tell
like,
you that's
what? Say what,
yeah,
Mofo?
yeah, yeah.
Uh-oh, the
And
chat's getting kind of aggressive.
well, because because it's at the size of an organization we're at worldwide, people now need to know where we're going. We need to communicate. They want to know where we're going. And when they know where we're going, they know how to adjust their sails to meet ours.
Okay.
And so for us, it's changing and being less about the doing and more about the communicating of the vision.
Right. Got you. Interesting. I've noticed communication is a big factor too. And I think communication is going to be a huge factor when Jupiter goes into Gemini at the end of May, by the
Yeah,
way, as far as getting the message out. It's
that's
gonna,
why we're in Prague.
yeah, that's fast. What are the dates? I mean, do you know yet? Or can
Yeah,
you
well,
say
that
it? Maybe
date
not
for
on
the
the air.
event is the 22nd, which is, I believe
Of
it's
June?
June. That's 29 or 0. I think it's 29, right?
Yeah, I think June 22nd? Yeah, I'll look it up and find out for you. But that's Gemini. That's going to be
I
pretty
think
intense.
it's 29. Yeah, it's a good, and we're expecting like 5,000 people.
Interesting. And it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that video, buddy.
Well,
And
or
see,
maybe seeing it with
I
us.
would I wouldn't be opposed to that, as I mentioned. I was looking for my little Astro app. I don't have it handy, so I'll look it up afterwards. I'll calculate it. Send me the dates, and I'll give you the exact times. I'll give you
Yeah,
the exact
yeah. So
of the step numbers.
so it was it's been interesting because I've been getting a lot of the last couple days. Like last week, I've been getting a lot of two of everything. Like 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 the LA event we're doing. Wait, well, I got two people contact with locations at the same time. It's like
Oh,
things like that are happening, and it's almost like, well, I feel like I normally have to make a choice. What's the right choice? And I'm like, the right one will show itself. In other words, I don't even have to put the mental energy. That's more my. I don't want to control it. It's like, okay, well, let's just see which one falls away or which one stands up.
that's interesting. I wonder if one is one timeline and one is the other.
Feels like it.
I have a sense that we're going to have a lot of those dualities, um, where in fact I just did the full moon recording for the full moon in Virgo, which is on the 24th of this month, and that full moon, I think you literally have both lives right there. And you are not in that full moon. And so what we're seeing is that you're going to see your old life right next to your new life. And you want to be able to choose the new frequency over the old. So you don't want to necessarily jump right away for the first thing that comes your way, because there might be another. In fact, I would say if you only have one option right now, that's suspect.
Right. Okay. Fair statement. And that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like well, two are coming in and they're going to choose for me rather than I
Yeah,
had to make the choice.
right. Sort of like the what do you call it in the Matrix? She's like, "You've already made the choice." I mean, was the whole joke, right? Yeah, you've already made the choice. Your heart has already made the choice, but it's about recognizing what that choice is. But I would
Yeah,
say
I,
that's
I was
yeah.
gonna
Go
say
ahead.
that it feels like consciousness is giving me because if I'm a master in the first 30 years, I have to have the high and the low, so I learn how to know what the choice is. It's sort of like a crash course on knowing which one is which.
Yeah, and in this world of duality, that's how we judge everything. Our perceptions with two eyes. You've said it yourself, two ears, two lungs, two hands. it's from the two that you find where you belong. You need that as an affirmation. But because we are changing timelines right now and literally moving on to new realities, and I, I'm not sure how far this goes, but in your world, Biden may win. In my world, some other president may win. I almost feel like we totally even choose even global stuff by what we choose locally.
So, I mean, this is kind of interesting. I mean, I'll give you some reference points to think about. It's like when I was in some of the worst time in my life, like when I got out of prison. I would be in a place and I'd see somebody happy in that same place, and I thought, what a different life. It almost like it was unreal to me. And then there's these times where there's these, it seems like these two realities are coexisting at the same time. I mean, we have, can you imagine being in an Aboriginal tribe somewhere in Central America, and then their life is one life, and they have a whole theory or a whole ecosystem system around that life, and then here we have this technology living over here in
Yep.
another life. And
Yep.
the Mayans would talk about that. They would talk about people living on different timelines in the same area, and you could see the
Yes.
difference. They were saying it was granular. So that makes sense to me. Like, why wouldn't that be the case? We occupy the same space. Like, we have energies around us that occupy the same space as us, and sometimes they interact with us. So why wouldn't it be that you have one president and I have another?
I agree. And you're only going to try. So what this does, this is a revolutionary because um, we've been tricked to think that we have to impact the world, right? This idea like I need to make a difference. I need to change the world. I need to, and it's like, nope, just change to the world that's already the way you like it.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't have to change anything. You change your vibe and you just go to that world. You don't where it's already the perfect the way you want it.
yeah. Somebody
There's no having to change it at all.
They were, somebody was, you get this whole flat Earth, round Earth, and
Oh
then
yeah.
right in between that is we have a biological system that adapts to us, just like a video game. But lots of people are playing an online video game at the same time. They all have a completely different experience,
Yeah.
and why wouldn't it be like that?
It seems to be an RPG. It does seem to be a role player game. And from what I'm also, researching, when you die, you simply wake up in heaven. Like we have allegedly we're in heaven now. We're
Yes,
actually communicating in a dream while we're sleeping in heaven. Like this is, from what I understand, none of this is real. It's all a simulation, of which is very exciting as I think about it more and I process it because it's sort of like Neo in the Matrix. Once you realize it's a matrix, well then suddenly you're not held by the laws of the matrix anymore because you're aware of what makes the matrix.
so this person said 13-degree Virgo. I'm willing to bet that on Friday they had a rough time, or
Right.
or a very, very blunt time.
Certainly, I would say that it was playing their tune, so their superpowers were on that day. Now, Virgo energy could have self sabotage once they had the power, like it and broke it down. A 13 Virgo is a Virgo that actually cannot stay the same. So, what I will say to you is you can never stay the same. You must always change for the rest of your life every year.
Okay, so Saturday was 14 degree,
Yep.
and so Cynthia, who's on here, is a 14 degree.
Ah, yeah.
So
How
what?
was that for her?
I, I don't know. We could ask
Yeah,
her.
tell Cynthia, how was it on Saturday
Yeah,
for you?
how was it on Saturday, Cynthia?
She was mentally squishing heads. She was just like, I am goddess.
Well,
Um,
it's also that her Chiron is 14 degrees Pisces as well.
yeah, I mean, this is a big year for her. I think she's going to really be able to step away from a lot of stuff that has been bugging her. I feel.
Yeah,
Why
I
are you
think so.
laughing? That was maniacal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's no, it's just watching people go through it. She's been having an issue with her left eye and eyesight, and it just randomly went. I know it's energetic. There's
Oh
nothing
wow.
nothing physically wrong, but left eye is fear of seeing the feminine side, emotional side, fear of, or not fear of seeing or processing. Maybe it was fear of seeing before, and now it's unwinding.
Hmm.
That's what it is. The
Yeah.
future in that aspect.
Probably my intuitive guess would be she doesn't want to see something karmic. It might be her karmic responsibility. She might be not wanting to see her own responsibility in the matter.
How's that sound? Yeah, she's definitely in healing mode. Yeah, it's been. I mean, because I've gone through my. I mean, she's watched me through and nursed me through. I mean, you were there. You saw most of it. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it was
I
tough.
spent 3 years vomiting, like a couple
Yeah.
times, at least once a month, like for 3 days.
Oh, by the way, there is a hell of a cold blowing through the entire United States. Every one of my staff has had it. All their families. There is a purge cold happening right now. A purge that's in the form of a cold.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I would say that if you look at it right now, 2/3 of everybody we talk to has got something physically going on, and another third has got something perceptually or emotionally going on. Like virtually nobody. There's a couple of them that say no, everything's really really good, and I give them a couple days, and they're like, shit, what happened?
Yeah. I don't. Someone's saying I'm seeing Enzo Zone 28. Knock on sick at all. Then you ain't ascended, Enzo.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
don't. You,
Wait.
the
I guess
body.
let's take it out of it. You're not getting sick. You're
Right.
clearing
It's
lower
true.
frequencies out of your body. What does a lower frequency does?
Right.
It lets things like viruses, like herpes and AIDS and Epstein-Barr. Those are all lower frequencies. And when I raise my frequency, those viruses and the bacteria associated with them and the thoughts that go along with them have to leave the body. Now, if you're not if you're not focusing on your health, when it leaves, it might not be comfortable.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Well, I agree with you that it's not a sickness; it's a wellness. It's actually happening. And someone was asking, "What is this cold purge?" Because we're doing an ascensional shift right now. I think that everyone's body is still tuned to the old frequency. So there's some sort of a reboot that I don't see a way around personally.
Yeah, well,
And that reboot,
I
yeah,
mean, this is what you and I have been talking about, and we talked about. So, like clockwork, people for 3 months had issues with their body. Our questions, our notices,
you're
our
right.
comments ramped up. Now we're 2 weeks into social circles and our
Right.
community. Now it's like I said. Now I've got issues in parts of our community. People leaving, people going, people fighting.
Right. Yeah, and Black Lilith is in the teen degrees of Virgo, so basically the bodies have to purge this. I believe that if people are in the human garage maneuver system, there's from I've witnessed from people who subscribers who've joined from your system, from me knowing you, if you are constantly doing the maneuvers, then you are gently squeezing this out every day. So
Yeah.
you would and you feel a little crappy every day, right? There's a little bit of a little minor hangover that happens from it. I think if you put it off, you manifest an event
Yes.
where your body does this huge, huge force flush. And like I've seen, and most people I see getting sick are not people who are proactive on this particular path,
Yeah. Fair,
you
fair
know, um,
statement.
or they're people who fight and they resist, and so the body have to overrun. So you might be aware, but you might be a real resistor.
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually say that from watching people. I mean, no, I know a lot about people, and I then consequently know a lot about their health. The cool thing, and sometimes not so cool thing, is I know everything. They'll
Right.
tell me their mental problems, their emotional problems, their physical problems, their sexual problems. I get it all, and it's given me the ability to see the world in a new way. And even in the group that we share, the 29 and Zeros Master Group, you can tell which ones are actively taking care of their bodies and doing maneuvers, and you can tell which ones aren't. And you can see the stark
Right.
difference in how they show up in the world. The ones who aren't, I typically find, are blaming everybody in the world or everything. They're a narcissist. It's that person. It's like, I got to protect myself. It's like, I got to hold, like we had this thing about boundaries the other day. And I said, well, setting a boundary is the very first part. But after setting a boundary with one person, Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you learned that. Now you're going to get a second one and a third one. But by the time you get to the fourth person, at some point, you're going to realize that the boundaries inside of you. Why are you still tracked in that same issue?
100%. Um, if you're blaming the world at the moment, you haven't figured out how it works yet. And I don't mean to be arrogant because I hadn't figured it out till just this month. So for the record, like, and I'm not even saying I figured it out. I think I finally understand it. I mean, Mercury conjoining Pluto today. Um, so if if you haven't, everything in the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So, anytime you're pointing to the outer world as the cause, you are failing to see how you brought in that cause. Yeah, it's the three fingers pointing back, 100%. And I know some people are saying, oh, there's a virus going around, there's a cold going around. Yes, sure, there is. But why does your body succumb to it and his doesn't? That's what it comes down to.
I,
Not everyone is gonna get sick.
I can speak to my personal experience, and we say detoxing for a purposeful reason because sickness is a condition that leads to death. Having a detox makes me feel better. I get better at the end at the end of it. So,
Yeah,
and it's important that we change language. But in my personal life,
I mean that's true.
yeah, for sure. In my personal life, it's been um, it's been a constant reevaluation of why is this showing up for me and taking full responsibility. But I mean, I didn't come to this, like you said, I didn't come to this overnight. Um,
Mm-mm.
I, I've had the opportunity, and actually, I might even say I'm a little slower than most people. I've just had so many people that I'm talking to that I see the physical attributes of their life and their bodies. And we said that people now had their physical issues, mental issues, emotional issues for the last 3 months. Now those things are now showing up in their communities right now today, and that means that people,
Ah,
yeah, people is now. It's like, well, I didn't show up to work for for almost a month this last quarter. Well, now I have to deal with the people that did my job, the fact that I didn't do it right. People are angry at me, stuff like that, and I'm drawing all of that in.
that's precisely where I would predict us to be right now.
It's,
And that's what this whole week is about. Is about evaluating the frequency you want your life to be on, and then of course, is the rest of your life on that frequency? Is my job, are my coworkers, my daily way of life, is the gym I go to on my frequency? So there's going to be a lot of I think a lot of separating from routines, from lifestyles, etc.
so what is the so we've kind of got it up to the new moon on Friday. What does Saturday and Sunday look like this week? What's the
Well, the new moon is let's do this. So the new moon is emotionally like I'm going for this, really pie in the sky. A star is born. The star that's born is you. And then what happens is step 21 is on Saturday. So it's a whole once you have concluded without a doubt. So, there's one of those things where you say, let's use an example. I feel like I'm meant to be, on stage as a dancer. Oh, maybe not. Yes, I am. Maybe not. Well, I don't have the legs for it. So you spend your whole life going back and forth. And then Friday you go, nope, I know it. I belong on that stage to be a dancer. I know it. And once you are so convinced that you think nothing else otherwise, then God's like, oh, then since you're so sure, let me show you this. And so something unveils, I believe, on Saturday, something that you could not have seen until you committed to that blind corner, until you want it bad enough. You see a new paradigm. And then Sunday, you're taken to a higher level. So Sunday is a 22 degree. That's a Grandmaster degree in Aquarius. So I believe that something happens between Saturday and Sunday where you see something, and this is even for you and I. This will be our conversation next Monday. We're likely going to see something that even our leadership vision never saw or thought of before. That's what I'm predicting. Like, just
I
because we weren't there, so we couldn't have. We were working to that
I
place.
get it, and also knowing that everything happens on like there. I used to look at. I know you do the same thing. I used to look at the step days, and plan out when I wanted to do stuff, and then I said it's way too much energy. I'm just going to plan the day, and then when I get there, I'm going to look at the step day and make sense of it.
Right.
And and so anyways, we plan to actually reset our overall vision and picture and communication style and where we're going. Friday afternoon, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh wow, you did that over
Yeah,
the.
we
You're doing it this
just
weekend.
decided that
Oh,
we literally just decided that a couple hours ago this morning.
that you're going to do it this weekend.
Yeah,
Oh wow, you're planning to do that. That's interesting. Well, here's what I predict then. You all are assuming it's going to go a certain way, but you'll all be surprised it goes a way you never thought.
I'm excited for that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like for me, if you told me that 3 years ago, I'd be, oh my God, it's not, my plan's not going to work out. Today, I'm like, there's no way I could plan it to be this good.
Oh no, I mean that's part of the exciting part is the co-creation part. So we were just talking about this today in our staff meeting that you we're kind of in this last age of survival, we became loners where we sort of thought we had to do it on our own. And the ego sort of made us think that it's like man versus whatever. So I versus the world. The reality is that we are all fractions of God. We're all fingers of God. And so when you want to do something that's on a big scale, you can't do it alone.
Yeah,
You have to co-create with the other aspects of God. You have to coordinate with the other people who are masteries in different fingers than you are of vibration. So the point is that there's no way you can plan for all the fingers of God. You can only plan for your finger and what you do. Um, and so there's a co-creation that happens, and so there's a surprise element
right.
because once you surrender and co-create with God, there's a whole lot of shift that you did not consider.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part. That's where life is truly exciting and where the wonder is.
I think it's so we talk about this all the time. Everything in this life has a dual purpose, including our emotions.
Yeah.
Everything at the micro level happens at the macro. So, like anxiety and excitement are technically the same chemical in the body. Joy and sadness, same chemical. My perception tells me, am I joy or am I sad? That's why we cry when we're
Yeah.
joyful. And then confidence and fear. So when our body is in stress, we typically choose the negative version of that emotion, and then we draw the energy to us from that. That's literally why I do fascia maneuvers every day, and that's why I do a couple of them. Like I do my routine, and throughout the day I'll do my organ reset. I'll do stuff because I could feel my stress getting up, and I want to, when I'm presented with each situation, I want to choose the one that my perception wants. I want to choose the, let's say, I don't want to say positive because there's no positive. I want to choose excitement rather than anxiety. I want to choose confidence rather than fear.
Yes. You've always told me that when I was in a huge anxiety attack, which was hard for the record. So it's like, really, buddy, this is happiness. Like, yeah, it's the same element, it's the same chemical. He's like, it's hard to realize that. But no, I do realize that. I agree with you 100%. That it's the same. And you're right. If you're in that place of calm, if you were centered, grounded, and if you've squeezed out your stuff, through the maneuvers, you are in a place to authentically choose the other. Yes.
Well, and so this is the architecture of the body. When the body's in stress, we have a limitation of options. The more stress, we see less options. The ultimate of stress is actually the end result of stress is suicide
Yeah.
because I only see one option, and that
Right.
option isn't in this plane of existence, right? So,
Yeah.
so that's why stress has it just keeps getting narrower and narrower. But when we take our body out of stress, we go narrow, narrow, narrow. All of a sudden, we see options. That's why we know whether, and it doesn't have to be fascial maneuvers. So fascial maneuvers is super effective at doing it because
Right.
in a single movement, I can take myself out of stress. I don't have to go for an hour class. I can do it in 3 minutes, standing right here in front of you.
Yes, I concur. Although I think that it is you found an effective method.
Yeah, yeah,
Even my
and
staff is my staff is saying that when they first got started doing the 1, 3, and 5 day, they were saying, "Oh, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of dedication. I'm really having to motivate myself, but I can't deny how calm I feel after it's over." They couldn't deny it. Like they just like, yeah. So it's undeniable, and I agree. And I actually think if you want to talk about motives, there's definitely a motive to get everybody into that stress. When I say motive, I mean in media, in TV and film. We're
Yeah.
constantly yanking people's chains to get them in that place of like stressed out just through irritation, like a kid just poking at you constantly. And so when you are in that frenzied state, you are far more manipulated a bull. You're far easier to control, you're easier to manipulate, you're easier to deceive because the person is just wanting peace at any cost. And that's the thing, the at any cost part. So I think once you're calm too, you can start to see those kind of mechanisms playing out.
So that's interesting because I love what this is going to do. I love the fact that your staff is all going through this together.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most powerful things that we did, we went through the reset together and using the step days of the reset. Like today is step 22. So it's a Grandmaster Aquarius day.
Oh, wow.
What I belong to, and it's a Pisces day, and
Right. The
and
earth
so
is
those two things
Pisces,
work.
but the exercise is at 22.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the way I'm perceiving the day because I'm in multiple states of step awareness, and one of them when you commit to a 28-day bundle or to a bundle of time, when you
Right.
commit to that, then
Yep.
you're in that process. So like tomorrow
Yep.
is 23, it's Gemini, and we go into Capricorn.
Right. And that's what you've actually, so you've just unveiled the secret of the universe right there, in the sense that the truth is Mercury's at step this, the sun's at step that, Jupiter's at step this. There are cycles within cycles within cycles within cycles, all going through the steps, all on different steps. So it's an elaborate sort of dance. When you start a program like your 28-day reset or my 40 days of past life and karma, which is coming up on February 19th. We're doing another 40-day program for past lives and karma, by the way. Super excited about that. This one's going to be really good because it's the biggest thing people ask. But we do the same thing. we start we start day zero on day zero, right? But then we go to step 31 once we go into 0 degree the next side, step 32, step 33. So we there's still the independent step system that's housed in the step system of the earth.
So so this is where I mean the way I see it is that we're a component of all these different resources. We're like our sun. That's like the lens that it all goes through. But then we have our the way we think, the way we have relationships, the way we take action, the what we open up to, how we respond to all the things that come to us, or the karmic ones, who we are in community. We have all these different things that are running at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And
At
and
different steps.
what I like about your platform is it allows me to see which levels I'm functioning on and
Mm-hmm.
which ones I'm not. Because if I bring all my functions up to 29, which for me as a 29 in my sun sign, I get shit kicking all the time because anything that's out of balance it compares against the lens. It comes up the lens, and the lens goes, wait a second, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it allows your platform allows me to look at things individually, like my thoughts or like my relationships, and be able to adjust them accordingly.
Yes, that's probably our primary teaching is that the 12 signs are 12 states of awareness. And so in the first couple years of our service, what we're really beginning to do is sort of Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. We're constantly bringing your attention to the different conscious voices within you. So that's what I believe we are. I believe we have 12 states of consciousness that are self-aware on their own, and they're all at different steps, and they're all having a root intention, something that they all want. So really, you are the father of 12 hungry kids inside of you.
And somebody said they only know their basic sun sign and actually want insight to help you. And and this is a really common thing because I know my sun sign, I kind of identify with that, but I don't know how to use any of that. You want to explain a little bit for people? There's a lot of new people that are here that don't know why the app is there. Do you want to explain a little bit why that app is
Sure.
there?
I mean, what we have a program in Serious Joy called 40 Days of Truth and Purpose, and you can actually start at any time in the app, and it will. You just do step zero. The best thing to do is to do it on a step zero day to start the program on a 0 day, so you're in sync with the energies. But the sun is your heart. The sun is the center of the solar system, and the sun is the center of the soul's system. So your heart is the center of everything. So what we look at every day is the step number the heart is being gravitated towards by where the sun is in the sky. So wherever the sun is in the sky is where all of our hearts are being called to as we all are bouncing off of the energy of the sun. So the sun tells you where your heart is, but Mercury tells you where your mind is. And so Mercury is usually close to the sun because it's got a small orbit. So it's either a little bit ahead of the heart or it's a little bit behind the heart because of Mercury retrograde. But your mind is on, and we all know right now you could drive home. Your heart is all on how you're going to dig into a big thing of chocolate ice cream when you get home. That's what your heart's focused on. Your mind is thinking about what your boss talked about today at work. Your ego is wanting to move faster. This freaking traffic, get going. You already know that you have all these different intentions, all these different impulses. So our secret to life is to unite the states of awareness, to bring them all onto the same page. And if you do that, you harmonize your frequency and you develop a rhythm. And from that rhythm, you start to co-create with the universe. So I think the reason why people can't get things done is because they are fraction. Their attention is scattered in too many places in too many directions. Does that
Yeah,
help?
yeah, and so the purpose of the app is number one is you give an overview in the day, the
Yep.
beginning,
Okay.
and that overview starts off and gives everybody here's the container that you're playing in. Here's
Yep.
what everybody's dealing with. Here's the energy that we all have to look at, and then throughout the day, there's 7 messages that come. Some of them, so I mean, it's funny because I get a lot of my people like leaders and coaches on the service and I'll get these messages like sometimes at like 2 in the morning. It's like, I think Chris is spying on me.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's so accurate. It's crazy. Especially once you assimilate and just go with it and stop arguing. Like if you just get into observation mode, because you'll find, and this, you know what it is these are rhythms of the universe. So yeah, every day we have a pep talk where I talk you, here's the energy of the day. It's sort of like a coach pulling you aside before the game. Here's the energy of the day. Here's what you want to put your heart on. Here's what you want to focus your mind on. Here's the question to answer. Let's do this. We'll see you tomorrow. So it
Uh,
really is life coaching
I
every
got
day.
somebody at 12/21/82 1102. I don't know what. You should go to astro.com, run your chart. If you're a 29 degree or a 0 degree, you should be messaging us. We have, and, and for those of you guys who are not, somebody asked me earlier, I know that you may have a 29s in other areas of your chart. This specific experiment is for us to learn how 29 degree in the sun sign and 0 degrees act. And we have a 25 group, and we're going to have a 28, 27, 26, 24. We're just piloting it right now. We're just seeing like how often do we have meetings and what works and what doesn't work so that we can lay it out, because we can't manage all the groups. So we're about to roll those. And for those of you guys who are in the group that Chris and I are monitoring and working with, we're going to be moving to the Circle platform here shortly, like within days, so
Oh,
that
that's
we have,
great.
yeah, and we can have our lives in there. It actually lets us do the video. It posts it right afterwards, all automatically.
Oh,
It
that's
lets threads and
nice.
conversations. Lets people talk amongst each other easier.
Yeah. So for those who are asking, someone's asking, I have a 29-degree moon. We so far what we're realizing is you want to hang out with the other sun degrees of your same sun
Yeah.
sign and bitch about your 29 moon to them. Because the truth is that when your sun is who you are, it's your heart, it's your soul. Your moon is just one little fraction aspect of yourself. So the truth is you wouldn't get as much benefit if you came to the 29-degree sun group. You would only now and then resonate with what people were saying. If you go to a sun group based on your step number, you're going to resonate 90% of the time with what other people are saying. And from that foundation, you can then explore these other spin-offs of your personality, which is your moon, etc. So yeah, Garry and I are prototyping the whole concept right now with the 29s. And then you're saying you're going to open up to all of them at some point, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna put one for everyone. It's because what we're doing is we've been looking to build community. And what we found is that, just because they are like they're Sagittarius and Sagittarius or Taurus and Taurus doesn't mean that they get along. And doesn't mean that they relate because they approach it so differently. And in building community, the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to talk to somebody that gets me and understands me.
Yes.
Because if I go out there in the world, I come back, somebody who processes the same way I do, and is going to be able to give me more feedback. And I'm a Sagittarius. If I have an Aquarius 29 and I have a Leo 29 and I have a Cancer 29, they're also parts of that same state of awareness. I'm a manifestation. That means at the end of this game, I should be a 29 in all of them, and then I go to another world somewhere. But I want the master level for my sign of input when I have an issue, so that I can ask, because I don't see my Cancer side sometimes, or I don't see my Taurus side sometimes. But talking to a 29-degree Taurus, I can really get it.
Um, I should really go into airplane mode when I do this. Are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay,
Sorry, what'd you say?
gotcha. So, what I was saying was, you know, what might be a benefit is that I'm just thinking out loud here, is that we have these regular 29 groups. So someone says I'm a 4-degree Cancer, so you'll have a 4-degree group, you have a step 4 group, I'll have a step 18 group. But I think what would be really cool is if you have a once a month or a once a quarter summit where you have all the same nets. So all the net 11s get
Yeah,
together in like a quarterly summit or something. All the
yeah,
net 9s. That would be 9, 18 net 9, 27 net
yeah,
9. So that
yeah.
you can all compare notes as far as the levels of the net numbers, because
Yes.
there are different levels. With 29, there's only two. It's 11 and 29. That's a rarity.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And then two, and then makes it two, right? 29, 11, and two. One plus
It
one.
does make it two, but two, for the record, and I was talking to this numerologist on Friday. His name is Josh Siegel. He's really good. He was saying you don't add the 11 to the two as far as interpretation, and I agree with him. It's only for management.
That,
Like,
that makes sense, because I say that the 29 is the mastery of that sign, Sagittarius, pushing the edges and boundaries, learning to teach. Then Virgo is to embody it. And then I bring it to community where I'm just managing it.
yeah, yeah. And so, how do you manage a 29? Well, you stay in your integrity net 11. How do you stay in your integrity? You feel that you are or aren't. So it's really the third net of that two is really a tool to use to stay in alignment. But yeah,
Somebody said about human design, and so I'll just give my 2 cents first. These are all different ways in human design. As I've learned more about it, I can see the astrology in it.
yeah,
And also, we have a lady that we work with that does Akashic records, and she tells you what, like, my category is wisdom, and I can now see other wisdoms, but now I can link our astrology and say this is where that looks.
yeah,
So at the core of it, this is all about the stars and how we relate to them, because we're made of the stars, from the stars.
yep,
And they're all different languages. Astrology is the raw feed. After that, you put, even when we put down, and numbers were before anything
yep,
else. So numbers are
yep,
at the beginning. I put Sagittarius on. That's an amalgamation. That's why not all Sagittarius are the same. I put human design on it. It's another layer of information. It's another lens to analyze it, which is really good. But I find I get value in using all. But my core value, because I learned astrology, I've been learning from you for years,
yeah.
is astrology tells me everything I need to know. But it's a deeper, a steeper uphill climb for people.
What my strongest takeaway from human design so far is it tells you how you manifest. So I can't find in astrology where human design calls you a manifester generator, a projector, or the other one. Like, so those categories, you can't find those in astrology. I don't know where they are. I haven't found it yet. It might be some planet we haven't discovered. I don't know. I think it's from the I Ching that they have integrated with human design. The other
Hmm.
fascinating part about human design that astrology doesn't talk about is human design says 88 days before you were born exactly is your creation date, which, from what I can tell, is the birth chart of your soul. So I've been running creation date charts, which is super fascinating,
88
which
days.
make so exactly 88 days. And you want to go to a human design chart site to run this because they do it to the minute on these HD sites. There's a lot of free HD sites. It is your creation date. And look at your creation date and time. Run the same creation date, time, and location of your birth in and run a chart for your soul. That's your soul's chart versus your body's chart, which is really
You know what?
fascinating.
That's funny. Just roughly, that would put me at Grandmaster Libra, and
Yeah.
and I actually have a Grandmaster Libra in my Venus, or no, in my Mars.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm actually so my creation date birthday is coming up here, which is step 22. I'm a step 22 Aquarius, so I'm a Grandmaster Aquarius. My soul's a Grandmaster Aquarius, baby.
Well, that
Which
that
is
makes sense though. That makes sense because for a Taurus, you are really selflessly out there to do it for the world,
I'm
which
very interested in the metaphysics. I'm obsessed with how it works on a metaphysical level too.
huh? I'm
Like I
super. You know,
yeah.
it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting for us to take somebody who's really good at human design and have a conversation.
Okay, let's do it. You mean like bring him into one of these days? Like have a
Yeah, yeah,
threesome
or
here?
maybe on a different format so we have a better screen. But maybe it's.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think so.
that'd be fun. Let's do it. The ladies I interviewed, so dayluna.com are these two ladies. I think they have an impeccable integrity. So I would run your chart there if anyone wants to run their chart. I think they have impeccable integrity. They're super busy. Trying to get them takes months to get in. So I don't, and there's two of them, which is really interesting because they work sort of like the twins in The Shining. One starts talking, the next one is really fun to be with. But I love them; they're great ladies. But we need to find if anyone is a human design expert, you should reach out to us.
There's
Gene
that
keys are also very
there's
interested too.
there's Alla, Dr. Alla. She's like makes sense. Of course, Christopher is Aquarius, and she's a 22 degree in her moon. So
Oh, really? A 22-degree Aquarius,
I think
Dr. Allah?
I don't know if she's Aquarius, but 22 degree in the moon, anyways. The number
Yeah.
again, the number means more to me than anything else. Like I
Oh,
feel
me
comfortable
too.
with it. Yeah, yeah. Hey, well, listen,
Yeah.
Chris, I'm
All right.
looking forward to discussing with you what we came to after Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and
Yes, let's see
talking
what
next Monday.
happens. Over my soul's birthday too. It's my soul's birthday on Sunday. So let's run your creation chart too before next week and we'll talk about your creation chart.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, buddy.
Okay. Bye everyone. Much love to everyone.
Bye,
See you
Chris.
next week.
Take
Bye.
care. If you haven't done yet, guys, go to Mimic Garage, go to our website, and go to our products. Go to our partners and go to seriousjoy.com for $3.99 for the first month, and you can cancel anytime. But you can go there. You'll get your A story, your B story. You'll get a month worth of service. My guess is that you're going to keep it because it is super valuable. You're going to get 7 messages a day that keep you on track. And if you want to do this 40 days that's coming up with your soul's, with your past lives and soul's purpose, that's coming up here in February. I think it's February 22nd or 23rd. It's coming soon. So you can sign up for that and you get that included with that. And you can do 40 days of truth and purpose. So you can go back and still do it. It's still available in there. Super powerful. That app has literally changed my life, and looking forward to seeing what happens this week. I mean, I'm excited about talking about what happens this week, next week, because we've got the full moon, or sorry, new moon coming up on Friday. We've got two of the most powerful days on Saturday and Sunday, and woo, it's going to be powerful. Take care, everybody.